What is happening, YouTube? How y'all doing today? It is Friday. Welcome to Friday. Just your average Joe hanging out in the garage. We've got another little mini story time to go over today. But if you haven't hung out with me before, I've been reselling full time on eBay for about 8 years, give or take, but been buying and selling on eBay since 2000. So a long, long time. We've got a few sales to go over. Nothing crazy, but we did, well, kind of hit goal after fees and shipping. I'm not going to hit goal, but still not a terrible day. So we had some sales come through, so that's good. We've got, hopefully we can hammer out some sales over the weekend and hit goal because we're not too far off from hitting goal. I need to do about $400 to $500 over the weekend to hit goal. So hopefully we can make that happen. I put a bunch of stuff up on eBay. Really this whole week I've been putting stuff up on eBay. I've got one bin of clothes left to put up. I just got all those out, so actually all my bins are clear now. But I got a pile of clothes in the living room that I've got to hammer through. And then I've got like an Atari, a Nintendo I got to fix, an Atari I got to test again. Now that I got the joystick, I got ordered a joystick for it, um, so I can test that now. And then actually I already tested it with the little pads that have the little, like, I don't know what they're called, but the little turn pads. I've already tested it, so it works and it fires up and turns on. But I didn't have a joystick, so I'm just going to test the joystick, make sure it works, supposed to work, and then I can put that up. I got a Nintendo. I got to change the 72-pin connector on. I got to do that. Hopefully that thing will fire up once I fix that, and then pretty much I got like 14 systems upstairs that I got to get through, and I've already processed, cleaned, tested. They're all good to go except for that Nintendo. And then I can go ahead and get pictures all taken of those and get all those up hopefully over the weekend. So by Sunday, I'm planning to be through all of my death pile, all of my systems, all of my clothes. Damn fly. Basically through everything as of Sunday. I'm hoping to be through everything. So hopefully, if you have a death pile, you're getting through yours. I know a lot of us do. I don't count my video game cartridge video game and some of my video game piles, death piles, but I do have some of those still hanging around for a rainy day. I told my wife those are for rainy day. Those are rainy day piles. Those aren't death piles. There's good stuff there. It's all been processed. It's all been tested, and it's all the better games, non-filler games. So, and things that'll sell well, like Pokemon, for example, and Zeldas and all that stuff. So I save those just in case I go through a drought and can't find anything. Then I'll hammer in and get into those. But so those are like rainy day pile. But anyway, all my other stuff is I'm through on my death pile. I'm pretty much at the end of all of it, which is nice. I've been hoarding on to some things over the summer. 4 bins of clothes, that Atari and all the empty boxes and all those systems that were on my processing table. So I'll show you guys, hopefully on Monday, when I come back Monday, I'll show you guys my processing table and show you how clean it is outside of the cartridge games that are piled up. But outside of that, it should be pretty much bare unless I go yard sailing tomorrow, which is the plan. So I may do go GoPro and may do some light editing and post my yard sale if I decide to go. I'm not sure if I'm going or not yet, but there is some that popped up already. That's the nice thing about being in the South, man. There's still yard sales, community yard sales happening. It's November, and there's still the community yard sales happening. So it happens all pretty much all through the winter. You'll still have stuff when it gets cold, a little bitter. I mean, not like North cold, but when it gets a little bitter out there, there'll definitely be few and far between. But it's still in the 70s, man. It's beautiful. Um, so anyways, that's what I got to say about that. So hopefully you're getting through your death pile because I am certainly getting through mine. It's translating into some sales. Not a ton of the new stuff I've put up is sold, but that's okay. It will eventually sell. I had just put up a whole bunch of Carhartt stuff. I had a bunch of Carhartt. I remember going. It's funny when you go through some of your old stuff, it kind of jogs memories of when you went yard sailing and when you picked the stuff up. So I remember going to this yard sale and the lady had a ton of clothes and a ton of Carhartt stuff, all the same size. So it was like 6 long sleeve Carhartt shirts, like 4 short sleeve, 3 khaki shorts, a hoodie, and 2 hoodies actually. And so I was like, she wanted $1 piece for all of it. She didn't care what it was. It was dollar, 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 dollar. So I picked all of it up. So I'm in like 15, 16 bucks on all those pieces. And like the 3 shorts alone, I put in a lot for $59.99, $20 a piece plus shipping. You know, they'll probably sell. If somebody sends me an offer for 45, 50, I'll take it. But at the end of the day, you know, it was a no-brainer, man. Carhartt stuff sells. It was all in pretty good shape. It wasn't stained up, tore up, ripped up, nasty. It was all the same size, which is easy listing. So it worked out well. So, but it's been sitting in my death pile since in my clothes death pile since February, March timeframe. So, but this is the perfect opportunity to put that stuff up. You know, it's getting to be wintertime. It's long sleeve stuff. It's hoodies. The short sleeve, obviously not so much, but the longer sleeve stuff will work. So it's good time to get that stuff up. Right now, I think I'm sitting on some like Harley Davidson chaps that I got to get up. So the last pile of clothes is like Harley Davidson chaps, some military, army combat shirts that are new with tags. And I picked a lot of these up for a few dollars. You know, a lot of this stuff is nickel and dime. Like I don't spend a lot on clothes. And clothes, a lot of times you can get at really good prices, depending on, you know, where you're at and where you're going and the yard sale that you're at. Clothes are typically pretty good value. So, although I hate clothes, they do sell. They do sit for a while too. So don't get me wrong. Clothes do sit for a bit, but when you get it for $1 or $2 and they turn around for, you know, 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks, 60, 70 bucks, depending on what you picked up, for a few dollars, it's worth it, for it to sit for a little while. But yeah, I do have a lot of clothes and a lot of winter stuff. So hopefully some of this long sleeve winter stuff that I got hanging around here, as you can see, clothes. Not a ton, but I also got 3 bins right next to me that are full of clothes, as well. And there's another bin on the other side. Sorry for the rocking and rolling. Another bin on the other side that's full of army stuff, and then another bin that I just did all the Carhartt stuff, which is on the other side of the shelves. So I've got 5 bins full of clothes plus these 1, 2, 3 racks, technically 4 racks, but 3.5 racks we'll call it. Like I said, they do sell. So not my favorite thing to pick up just because they sit for a long time, and then, you know, measurements and blah blah blah. I've already talked about that in the past. I don't do measurements. If somebody reaches out to me for measurements, 9 times out of 10, unless they reach out to me multiple occasions, I'm not going to give them measurements, because 99% of the time when I've sent, in fact, this just happened. I sent measurement. The guy reached out to me 3 different occasions asking for measurements on this. I'll show you guys this. What is it? North Face, like rain jacket type deal, tracked rain jacket. He asked me 3 separate occasions. He was like, "Hey, can you send me measurements? Send me measurements." And I finally was like, "Sure." After the 3rd time, I'll send you some measurements. Never heard back from him. That's normally what happens when I do send measurements. 99% of the time, and that's why I don't even entertain sending measurements anymore unless they poke at me a few times, because when I used to just get up off my ass, the minute I got a message saying, "Can you get measurements?" I'd get right up and jump up and go get measurements, and they wouldn't sell. They wouldn't buy it. And I'd do that. You do that umpteen times, and nobody, and 99% of the time, it doesn't translate to a sale. It's like, I ain't doing that no more. If they don't, if they're that, no, I'm good. It'll eventually sell to somebody that, you know, and that'll just be that. I'm tired of getting up and getting measurements for people that never going to check out. Most of the time I don't even get a thank you back. It's just, I send the measurements, you never hear back from them, and it doesn't sell. So just, anyway, so that's my rant. Before we get into comments and sales, I did have, it's crazy. I told you guys, returns come in waves. So yesterday I had 2 returns come through. One was for a Apple TV that the guy said he didn't realize that you can't load. It was an older version. I put the model on there, but he didn't realize it was an older version, 1469, I think it is, which is came out in 2012, and apparently you can't download it. You can't do anything on it anymore. So what's on it's on it. Well, he messaged me, said, I need, I want to be able to watch movies and things like that, and it only has it doesn't have what I want. And I'm like, okay. So I happened to look. I didn't know this at the time. I happened to look it up, and it said basically you can't download. They stopped supporting it because it's an old version. I had no idea either. So I mean, I guess maybe shame on me, but I don't go that deep when I'm looking items up to see what software and whether they do updates on it anymore, blah blah blah. I just put the model number and I look to see what others have sold, and I put it up at the same, around the same price, and it sells. So anyway, he opened it up as defective. Again, it goes back to defective. Again, it's not defective. It works. He showed me pictures of, I've tested it, and then he sent me pictures of it working and everything, but it doesn't have like Netflix and Disney like he wants on it. And I'm like, well, dude, I'm sorry. So that's fine. I'll take the return. I'm not opposed to doing returns. It's part of doing business. What I can't stand is that he put it under defective instead of ordered by mistake. Like, he didn't realize it didn't have the things he wanted on it. So, okay, return it. That's fine. I'll give you your money back. But at the end of the day, it's just now here's another situation that I'm going to get dinged under my metrics for the seller metrics category metrics, whatever it's called, that will make me pay higher fees is what it's going to end up doing when they do the review again in January 1st and the next quarter. When the review goes through again, it's going to see that here's now another situation where I had a return for defective. It's not really defective. And so that's my argument. What I tried to, kind of articulate with you guys yesterday and the people with eBay yesterday is like, now I could call again. I'm not going to waste my breath, but I could call again and they're not going to care because at the end of the day, like they have no fix for this, but it's like, now this customer sent defective. Now, what I have done is I reached out to them and said, hey, instead of doing a return, instead of doing this case and doing a return, do you mind closing the case and I'll just go ahead and issue a refund and you can keep it. It's a $15 item with $6 shipping. Like, at the end of the day, like I'd rather just give them their money back and not even deal with a return on it, and they can just keep it for the $15. I mean, after it's all said and done, I made, after shipping and after fees, I think I saw like $9. So now I'm going to pay another $7 for them to ship it back to me and then try to sell it again. It's just not worth it. It's that you're talking nickel and dime at that point. Like, just keep it, so keep it. If you can close the return for me, so that way I told them it negative to net because you selected the option of defective when it's not defective, that can impact my account with eBay. Could you please go ahead and cancel the case and the return, and then I'll just go ahead and issue a refund. Well, of course, a trust factor happens there. Are they going to trust that I'm actually going to refund them? Now, yesterday on the another situation that I had, they did actually close it for me, and I did issue a refund. In fact, what was that one? That one was the that was the God of War. He did actually close it for me. I reached out to him, so that one's not going to count against me. So so anyway, let me backtrack a second. So they said, well, you issue a refund first. This is the guy with the Apple TV. He said, you issue a refund first, and then I'll close it. And I was like, well, the problem is if I issue a refund, it automatically closes the case. I was like, can you close the case on your end, and then I will issue the refund. So I'm waiting to hear back from him. That's going to be hit and miss as far as how that goes. Now, the guy that sent back the God of War, has my mic on? Yeah. The guy that sent back the God of War, I reached out to him and I said, hey, I just got the God of War back. Do you mind closing the case on your end? So because it was opened up under the wrong category, it's going to negatively impact my account as a seller. Do you mind closing the case? And I'll go ahead and issue the refund once you close the case. And same thing with him. He was a little leery. He was like, no, can't you close the case or can't you go ahead and issue the refund and then I'll close the case? I was like, no. Once I issue the refund, I'm admitting fault, and then it's going to fall back on me, and it's going to negatively impact my account because you picked the category of defective. That's going to be a bad nick on my account or ding on my account. So could you close the case, please, and then I'll issue the refund. And then he was a little leery about the refund, and I assured him, look at my rating. Look at, I do a YouTube channel. Trust me, I have no problem issuing a refund after the fact. I understand your concern, but I assure you I'll issue a refund. So he went ahead and closed it, and then I went ahead and issued the refund. So it worked out perfect. So that's my strategy. I did also, the strategy was I also got to return boots. I told you guys about the boots that got returned. There are the Army Cochrane boots, but they were returned got the wrong size. So they put down or wrong, didn't fit. So that doesn't count against me. That's not a defect against me or any sort of ding against me. They ordered the wrong item and it didn't fit them. So that's got nothing to do with me. I don't think that will ultimately negatively impact your account when they do the review for the categories and your return rates and stuff. So I didn't worry about doing that one. So I just issued the refund. I got them back on eBay, and I've already got 2 watches on it. I sold it for 70. I had them up originally for 90, and the guy at the bottom bought them for 70. Well, I've got them up for 90 now again. I got 2 watches on them already. So hopefully I can make a few extra dollars on it this go around, because he got a good deal at 70 on the Cochrane boots. Usually those boots go for anywhere between 75 and 100 for me. Anyway, another guy came through yesterday, and this is the kicker, and I was too hasty on this one. So he sent me, if you guys remember, I just sold that if you've been watching, the Red Dead Redemption on Xbox 360, and it had the correct game in it. Okay. He sent me a picture of Call of Duty scratched to hell and said it had the wrong game in it. Now, granted, first thing I did is look at his feedback. He's got no feedback. Well, he's got one, the one from me. That's all he has. So I was like, But I said to myself, man, just issue the refund because I'd already gotten the other. I've already been dealing with all these other. Again, the returns seem to come in waves, and right now I'm getting a wave of them. So I already had dealt with the other ones. I already had the Apple one open. So I was like, you know what? Just it's $12 free shipping or $13 free shipping. By the time I pay another label, obviously I only see like $8 of that, $7 of that. So then I pay him a label for $5. I just went back to myself and I said, just issue the refund for it and keep it moving. So, um, but he put what category did he put it in? I forget. I think I just ate that one. I don't remember. He probably put it as defective. I don't remember because I was a little upset when I saw the game. I didn't even look to see what category he marked it as. Um, he probably marked it as defective or not working or something. So that one's gonna hit me. Oh well, I literally just thought about that because I was mad when I saw it. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" He was like, "I know I didn't send him Red Dead a different game because when I take the pictures, it goes right back in the case and it goes up on my shelf. It doesn't get swapped out for anything. So I know 100% he was lying. 100% he was lying on that one. So I was a little hasty and I just went ahead and closed it and issued the refund and closed it and was like, I'm not even dealing with this dude. This fucking joker. And then I blocked him. And then I did a review. You can do a buyer review on them and just put down, in the buyer review, not that it probably is going to make any difference. And, but that's all I can do is I did a buyer review on him saying that I disagreed with the return or something like that. And then I put in the comments that he's got one feedback from me only. And I can assure you 100% I sent the correct item. So this guy, watch out for this guy is all I put. And, where it goes la la land and nobody's ever going to look at it. And that's fine. But at the end of the day, that's all I can do. And so that one I just ate because again, it just was like, what am I going to do? This dude's saying like, I'm going to argue with this guy. And obviously eBay is going to swing in his favor. So that's the first time I've been, if you want to call that one a scam, technically that's the first time I've been scammed on video games that somebody actually showed me that I sent them something different than what I actually sent them. And it's a shame, but luckily it was only a $12 game and, I'm out. I mean, actually, once I refunded him, I'm technically negative like $4 and change for the label. It is what it is, but it's not the end of the world. But it just sucks that people are like that, man. So that's my rant. That's all I got for you guys as far as returns. Hopefully, now I did implement. I thought eBay, the guy I talked to yesterday, said there was a way to set up messages, automated messages to send out to your buyers anytime they buy something or you do the label. I tried to do that yesterday and there was no options to set up automated through your account settings. So then I called eBay again yesterday and was like, am I missing something here? Like, actually, I checked out some YouTube videos and the old versions you were able to apparently, but those were like 2 years old and whatever. And so I called eBay because I was like, am I in the right place? Because it's not giving me an option to modify or edit, like make a personalized message to my buyer whenever they check out. And they were like, no, you can send them a message yourself manually, but we don't have automated messaging. So unless I'm missing something and you guys can help me with that, any of y'all that do have that set up, I know when you set up time away mode, it does let you put an automated message. But for just general purchases, at this point, from what I understand, that's not an option anymore. So I created myself a template and every item that sold yesterday and every item that sold today, I just copy and paste, send, copy and paste, send. It takes a minute or two, but it's worth it, in my opinion, to take that minute or two to send those and then be done. And it just says, thank you for your purchase. I appreciate your business. If there's any issues with your item, please let me know before you open a case or return with eBay. I'll be glad to help you out. I'll be glad to resolve your issue. I'm very quick at replying because I'm fucking quick, man. I'm on my shit all the time. But I'm very quick at replying and getting back to you if you have any problems. And then it says like, check out my YouTube channel and make sure you save our store or follow our store and have a wonderful day or something like that. So something of that degree is kind of what I've got in there. So that's the only other thing I can do is proactively throw that message out there. Does it crack the door to help to maybe have some additional scams hit me? Maybe, but I'd rather do that and not pay eBay the extra 5% on all my fucking listings, in the video game category. And I'm just going to do it for all buyers. I don't care what item it is or what category it's in. I'm just going to do it for every item that I sell. It's really easy to just sit here for a minute before I get going and just doom, send. It's a template, copy, paste, send it out, done. So that's what I'm doing. Let me know what you're doing to be proactive, if anything, to help avoid getting shit returns, and helping you, maybe what's helped you not get returned, or what do you think you're doing? What's your secret sauce when it comes to not getting returns? If you have a very low return rate, is it that you take great pictures, you describe well? Because those things are on the money for me. I describe well. I got 5-star and all that stuff, 4.9, 5-star and all that. Actually, I think I got 5-star and all that. I think my shipping is 4.8. But item description, my pictures are pretty good. My pretty detailed in my description as far as any issues happening. I always get great feedback from customers, so I'm confident. For me, it's just a matter of, do I miss something here and there, like the downloadable content? And actually, I didn't. On that God of War, I went back to my listing. It does say in my listing that doesn't have the downloadable content. Now, does it say specifically it only has 3 out of the 5 games? No, but it does say it does not have the downloadable content. So because I had that issue back on another game, I can't remember what game it was, but I had a return for exactly that. So I've started doing that. So I patted myself on the back. I was like, hey, Joe, see, you protected yourself. So really, he couldn't have returned it for missing items or pieces, because I put in the description that it didn't have the downloadable content. So I was actually good. Hopefully my mail lady doesn't come. So anyway, that's that. So that's all I got to say. So let me go ahead and get going on comments, and then we will get to dang, I got a lot of comments apparently. You know what? Let me pack in case my mail lady comes before we get to comments. Let me take a break here because I've been rambling. This might be a little bit longer video, but I only have five items to pack. So first thing that sold. So I had a total of 5 orders for $213.77. Not great, but I'll take it. You know what I mean? We've been doing pretty good this week. So first thing that sold was a Nike hoodie. Have had this thing forever. This thing is went for $10 plus shipping. Nothing crazy, but I remember picking that up for $1. Next thing that sold was $14.99, $15. Dragon Age Origins on PS3. That sold for, again, $15, free shipping on that one. Disc looks minty mint. All right, next thing that sold was Chucky. I'm not going to, well, should I open it? I'm not going to open the whole thing, but Chucky, it's his face. I guess you can't really see his face. Can you see it on this side? Not really. But anyway, it's a Chucky blanket. I'm not going to unroll the whole thing, but it's a Chucky blanket, sold for $15 plus shipping on this. You would have thought that would have sold in October, not in November. But hey, I'll take it. I've been holding on to that thing for probably a year. Maybe a little less than a year. Protocol 2 sold for $13 free shipping. Let's just check the mint. All right. If there's any fingerprints, I like to take them off. Sometimes there's fingerprints on them after I handle them. And then the bigger sale of the day, or the between yesterday and today, was a Xbox 360 with a bunch of games. There's a bunch of loose games in there too. A whole pile of loose games, actually. There's a whole plethora of loose games. I don't know, another like 7 or 8 loose games. So a bunch of games with it. 2 controllers, obviously the power brick and everything else. It's got a 250 gig hard drive. That sold for $120 plus shipping. So $120 plus shipping. The guy said, I marked in the description, one of the controller bumpers, you have to press it kind of hard for it to register. And he just said, hey, if there's any, can you tell me which controller has the problems when I receive it for my daughter for Christmas, so I can replace it? And I'm like, sure. So I actually just sent him a message. It was the one with the black triggers, because one's got black, or joysticks. One's got black, one's got gray. So let me go ahead and pack real quick. So in case my mail lady, in fact, I'll try to pack and let me put this up here. I'll try to pack and maybe go over comments at the same time. So, because my mail lady already came through and it's late. I got a late start today. It's already 1 o'clock on Friday, so I already got to a late start today. So I'd hate for her to come through again and I'm not ready, because then that's certainly not good. Then I got to wait till tomorrow, because yeah. All right. While we're doing this, comments. First comment in is the Picky Picker. The Picky Picker. Thank you for commenting, the Picky Picker. I actually read your comment, the Picky Picker, and I meant to subscribe to your channel, actually, to be honest with you, but I looked at your channel, I watched your video, and you gave me an aha. I was like, aha. Well, first of all, you helped me. I didn't realize you could turn. I know at the bottom of websites you can click on view full site, so that I knew. but I didn't know in the browser you could click on show the desktop version. So you taught me something there. And I used to work at AT&T, and that's, I don't know if that's something that got enhanced. I haven't worked there in 10 years, but I don't know if that's something they've enhanced through the updates that you can do it through the browser over the years. But either way, I appreciate the little nugget there. So should probably maybe wipe this one down again. Feel like I could. It's not bad, but it's all right. We're just gonna roll with it. It's not that it's bad, but anyway, so you taught me something there. Then the picky picker. I'm not even gonna read your whole comment. Well, I guess I will. In your last two videos, you replied to some comments that you start uploading videos to your listing to hopefully increase sales when eBay implements it on the app. I just uploaded my videos showing how to add video. I just uploaded a video showing how to add videos to your listings using your iPhone. So I went and I watched you, and I was like, it's almost was common sense, but just never thought about doing it the way you did it. So the way she did it is she actually in the iPhone Safari on the top where it says the big A, little A, you click on it, you go web version, and the problem is when you do that, I noticed when you go back to the app, it wants to load everything through the web version on your app. So that's the only thing is you have to click it again and go back to mobile version and for your app to go back to the app working the way it should. So that's the only caveat to this. However, it's a minor little thing you got to remember to switch. But when you go to web version, um, um, you can then go into your listings. Why can't I reply? There it goes. It lets you go into your listings and you can then add video because it's like you're going through the computer. So if you have a video of your item on your phone that you took, then you can just simply switch to web version through Safari, and then you can go to your listing and edit it. The way I would probably do it is I would post my listing, and then I'll just go back, try to remember to go back and at some point and then add the video is what I would do because I would still use the mobile version to list because I don't like the PC version to list. I like the mobile version. It's way quicker, at least for me. And then I would just go back to the mobile to upload the video for just like electronics. I obviously not every item, but like which I have a lot of electronics, but mainly just systems. So then you can it gives you the option just like you're on the PC, upload video, and then it which folder, your iPhone folder, and then it boom boom, click the video, upload, save, and it's done. So great. I like that. I like that. Replied on newest. Can I type? Video. Oh my goodness, I can't type. All right, so the picky picker. Hopefully you subscribed and appreciate you hanging out. Appreciate you commenting. Appreciate you. Uh, damn it, are you serious? Uh, and I appreciate you commenting and giving us that nugget. That was a great nugget to give, especially for folks like myself that want to try to make it easy. It's a few extra steps, but it's really just some extra clicks is all it is. And just so now from now on, I'm not going to do it with everything I have now, but from now on, when I get a system and I clean it and I test it, I'm going to take a quick video of me turning it on, putting the game in, turning it on, showing it turn on and load, and there you go. And then I'll just save it until I'm ready to post that listing. Then when I put that listing live, I'll just go into my Safari mobile or desktop version. I'll go into that listing. I'll edit. I'll upload the file. I'll save it, and then boom, it's there. So again, it's going to take a few extra steps and a little bit extra time, but it seems pretty freaking easy. So I am going to implement that going forward. So thank you once again. Fartsack Jack says no live, no watch. Well, I'm sorry, Fartsack Jack. Look, I understand. I understand. So Fartsack Jack, thank you. And then Winston says, let him make his content, man. And he says, I'm only blowing shit up his ass or blowing shit up, man. All right, I didn't see the name. So Fart Sack Jack, I appreciate you guys. We'll thumb up all y'all and give you some hearts. Appreciate you guys both commenting and hanging out. The Dark 25 Twitch says, man, that's why my eBay account is where it's at now because of my 8 cancellations. Mind you, that's for the year. I no longer am a top seller, and I'm back to only listing 250 items a month for from the 1,000 I was awarded. Like, come on, eBay, stuff happens. It feels like it feels like they have the buyers back more than the sellers. Well, first I'll say they absolutely do have the buyers back more than the sellers. That is 100% the case. The second thing is what I'm referring to on your seller performance metrics is different than your defects on your account. So defects on your account roll off after a year. Seller performance metrics get updated and reviewed every quarter. They do not. Is that her? No. They do not impact your seller performance rating. So in other words, like being a top rated seller and things like that. The seller performance metrics, like for each category that you sell in and having returns in those that I'm referring to, that I'm dealing with, is actually going to just increase the amount of fees that you're going to pay anytime you sell something. So I got so much bubble wrap. I got to use some of this bubble wrap. So I think we're talking a little bit different just to make sure we're on the same page. I think you've had like 8 cancellations are considered defects, and that's why you're impacted for a year. Defects are a whole different situation. So defects are like cancellations, or, and I'll be honest, anytime I do a cancellation, if I have to do, I don't normally do them, but if I ever do a cancellation, I always do a buyer requested, always, every time. I know that's probably not that's working around the system, but I would always recommend doing it that way so you don't get a defect. Now, granted, I don't do it often, but when I do, that's how I do it. So, you guys can nail me to the wall. And that's not the right way to do it, Joe. You're scamming eBay. Well, it is what it is. So, but yeah, or the other thing is if you have to have a defect is also like if you have to have eBay step in to issue a refund on a case, like a return or any sort of case. If you have to have eBay step in, then that's a defect. That ends up being a defect. That messes your seller performance. That messes up also technically with your money because you get the 10% extra off your final value fees whenever you well, this is jacked. Probably going to use that one on this one. So that can mess up your final value fees as well, charging you more money because you are no longer a top rated seller and things like that. So that again, a little bit different situation that we're talking about. So hopefully that helps clarify that. But the good news is, well, I'm not going to say it's good news, but the, I guess, kind of good news for you is they do roll off after a year if you don't have any more. That's not really great news, but hey. So, and then you can get top rated seller back once you get, under the threshold. You can see that under your performance or your selling metric or selling dashboard or whatever it is. You can see that stuff. So anyway, actually we are going to use this. So hopefully that helps answer that. I didn't know they did the listings and bump down your listings when that happens either. So that one I wasn't familiar with, but it doesn't surprise me, to be honest with you. But I think you should still pay for the basic store. I think it's worth it. All right. Let's keep rolling. Next one up is, did I reply? I did. Next one up is Craig. Says basic store is $21.95. Craig, thank you. Hey, there you go. That's exactly we were looking for that. So there you go. $21.95 a month for basic store. I'd recommend it if you're, I forget what the threshold is. If you're selling more than whatever that threshold is, I'd recommend it. So, so yeah, there's that. All right. Not too worried about that. All right, let's keep this party rolling. Craig, once again, thank you for commenting and hanging out. Hopefully you subscribed as well. eBay hosing Joe. I mean, I wouldn't say it's hosing me, but it's They should have a fix for that, because again, just like this Apple TV, if they don't cancel the return and do return it, and then that's going to count against me on a defect. Not a defect. It's going to count against me under my seller performance metric category. I forget exactly the term there, but so that's what's going to cause me to have to pay 5% extra on everything in that category. That's only for that video game and electronics. It's only that category that I'm impacted in. But still, it's like, come on, man. Um, so let's see, there's that and that. I'm going to use some of that bubble to shove in there. Okay. All right. Hopefully I can get these games and everything in here. You know what? I'm going to push this over just a little bit. All right. So the next one is, see, DY man. DY man, what is happening? Appreciate you hanging out once again. All right. That might help with these. Actually, I don't think those are going to matter. DY Man says, one of my first sales when I started going to garage sales and reselling was a sealed board game. It was Trivial Pursuit Ruby Anniversary Edition. It sold for $275 plus shipping on eBay within a month or two of listing. I paid $15 for it at a garage sale. I mean, hey, look, I know there's money in. I'm not saying there's not money in them, and I will certainly, I will next time. Again, I don't normally look stuff up at yard sales, but I do know that there's money in board games. I don't know a lot about board games, so my adjustment going forward will be just simply next time I see a game that I think might be something, because I do look at board games. I don't normally pick them up very often because you don't normally see good ones. But if it's anything that intrigues me, I'm going to look it up. We got tools in our pockets for a reason while we're out there in the wild. I just pride myself in not having to use it very often. So in that case, in those instances where I know there's money in it, but I don't know shit about it, I will break out my phone, or I'll walk back to my car and I'll look it up real quick, and then I'll be like, let me walk back and pick that up. I've done that a time or two as well. So anyway, so that's that. Actually, you know what? No, that'll work. So yes, but yeah, the great score, great pickup, DY man. That's again, there is certainly money in games, 100%, 100%. Okay, board games, that is. So let's reply to yours. Next one up is Drifter Thrifter says, okay, the issue with the return you had was this specific game. With this specific game is marked as a set of games, and he didn't get those games due to the DLC. It wasn't an add-on. It was actually short games that were listed in the cover. Correct. Well, they were downloadable. But yeah, I mean, I'm not. Trust me, I'm not perfect in this case. Definitely, And again, I'm not opposed to doing returns. I don't. I fucked up. Do the return. I'll eat it. But technically, it should be ordered by mistake, because as a consumer, you got to do your due diligence too and understand that DLC is not there, or ask the question beforehand. But again, yes, you are not wrong at all. That is certainly correct with the DLC in that specific game. Is that it 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 advertises and shows it's uh 5 games, but it's actually only 3, and the other 2 are downloadable. So anyway, there's that. But yeah, it is what it is. You take them on the chin sometimes to keep it moving. So that's the one I'm taking on the chin and gonna keep it moving. Like I said, it's the category situation is what burns me up the most, that eBay can't fix that part of it, because that's the part that is going to ultimately impact me on the back end and continue for me to pay 5% extra when I really shouldn't be paying 5% extra, because here we go, another situation with this damn Apple thing, and the guy's not messaging me back. So it's like, man, I'm gonna end up eating that one too. Watch. So anyway, we'll deal with that when it happens, or if they don't reply. That's all I can do. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. Try to make some adjustments and tweaks as I go. That's all I can do. So actually, you know what? Let's use some of this paper. That's all we can do, right? make some tweaks and some. Come on, man. Make some tweaks and adjustments as we go. Even if you've been selling for years, you're bound to make a mistake here and there. When it comes to DLC, though, as I mentioned, I already did implement putting there's no DLC in there. I'll just keep doing what I'm doing there on games that I realized that, like in that case, I realized it, but you know, sometimes you miss it too. You don't realize that there's DLC in it because you're not looking at all the shit on the game. You know, it's the ones that are blatantly staring at you, like downloadable this or downloadable that. Then you're like, okay, let me make sure I put it on there. And so, could I miss one again? Yeah, I probably could, because you know, it's they hide that stuff sometimes. Not hide it, but it's in the fine print, like downloadable content for this skin or this bud or whatever, or this stage or this whatever, unlock this or downloadable content, whatever. So, but again, you are correct on that for that particular game. Yes. So let me reply to Drifter Thrifter. Next one up is Ringo the Dingo. Hey Joe, when I sell something without a some type of number on it, I use an invisible ink pen to mark it only visible by blue light. When someone emails me wanting to return it, it just say it has a my mark 99%. Don't return it. Thanks. I mean that's not a bad way to go. That's not a bad way to go. So definitely can make sure you're not getting scammed and dealing with scammers if you do stuff like that. So luckily I don't feel I've really been scammed really outside of this damn Red Dead Redemption. As long as I've been selling, I don't really feel like I've been scammed at really ever. That one was blatant though, and he had one feedback, and that was something they mentioned. The guy on eBay, when I called him, was like, "Hey, have you ever thought about, like, what are a lot of your returns? Is it newer buyers?" I'm like, "Probably, yeah. If I come to think about it, yeah, it is." And he's like, "You ever thought about setting up your buyer thing where it only lets you do buyers that have X feedback or whatever?" I was like, "The problem is I get a lot of buyers that are new customers and they're fine. They buy something and I have no problem. So it's like I don't want to cut off new buyers either. So it's kind of like a catch-22 there. I don't want to cut off the new folks because I get a lot of sales from new folks and the transactions are fine, no problem. So anyway, there's that 12 pounds on that one. So there's that. That's the first thing out. Then it's the Nike. How much is the Nike? 12 ounces. Let's see, 12 ounces on the Nike. 0, 12, 12. Okay. All right. The next one up is a video game. I think it'll probably fit in this. All right. And then question, where are we at? And Joy Silver says, calling eBay is pointless. Reps have no power to fix it. I will say, and you're not wrong there either, but what I will say is when you ask to go to seller performance, I got an English-speaking agent, believe it or not. I haven't had an English-speaking agent in eBay in so long. He was out of Texas. Me and him shot the breeze for a minute. Good dude. Understood exactly where I was coming from. Said all he can do is submit a thing up to the upper ups because it's something that they'd have to review and see if there's enough cases or customer this is happening, and then possibly implement some sort of fix later. I used to do the same thing with AT&T. I was on a case team that took situations. So we would say it was a kind of like the situation I'm in, right? And we didn't have, there's no fix for it, but there's also doesn't happen a lot. So there, that's why it's not something that gets, really brought up much. But we would get like a situation come to us like that because an agent on the floor would submit it and it would come to us. We were like the middleman between the floor, the call center, and the executive team who can actually implement, or methods and procedures, really, which is part of the executive team. So methods and procedures. So we were like the middleman. So what would happen is, and this is basically what this guy submitted to them, that they kind of are going to do the same thing, which is, it's, a lot of times nothing happens with them. But what we would do, and I can't speak upon eBay, but what we would do is we would get the case. And so example like this, buyer has this situation, seller has this situation where buyer admitted they purchased by mistake, but they opened it under the wrong category. Thus, possibly affecting the seller category metrics on the after the 90-day review or the quarter or whatever. So, resulting in negatively impacting the seller, come the next review or whatever. So we would take that and then we would solicit the floor for more examples. So we would put out emails blasting the floor, all, then these emails would go over the whole country. So, through all of our call center agents would get the emails. They would, coach, the managers would coach, well, not coach, the managers would present these things to, during their team meetings, like, hey, this is something that the case team, we would call the urgent case team. So the urgent case team is looking out for scenarios like this. Make sure to be on the lookout. If you get any, make sure you submit them. So we would put those emails out that would be under the huddles for the managers to give to the agents. And then we would wait for solicitation for examples. And then as those examples would come in, we would decipher whether it's a legitimate example or something that the agent thought was an example, but really isn't. So sometimes we have to make a call to the customer. Sometimes we wouldn't, but it would all be contingent on, a lot of agents would just submit bullshit. And so that was the problem. So we were the filter. So once we got enough real examples, then we would do like a PowerPoint presentation and we would submit it to the director. And if the director was like, yeah, you guys have good points there. There's a lot of, obviously this is happening. How big is this, the situation, or how bad, how many customers are being impacted, or, how big, whatever, then he would set us up an appointment or a conference call or a video call with methods and procedures. The folks that kind of like on the executive team, sort of. Really, methods and procedures, I guess, reports to the executive team, but methods and procedures is what makes the policy changes. They would gather we would present to them, and then they would be like, yeah, you guys have, or no, you guys don't. And so it would be, yes, you got a good point. You got tons of examples. There's obviously something that needs to be fixed here. And then they would roll with it and submit it and, make it even nicer to present to the executive team that would say yay or nay, we need to make a change on this and implement a new process or procedure for it. And then that would be a new, 2 months later, that'd be a new process, new procedure, new whatever for whatever the situation was. Now, those things obviously take time. And then sometimes they're systematic fixes. Sometimes it's just a procedural fix and it's easy. But sometimes it's systematic fixes that need budget. And so then it could take 6 months, a year before that would change. But it is like one of those things that's on the books to be changed, but they have to have the budget in order to change it because it's something in the system that has to be modified or changed or updated. And again, it was awesome being on that team. I enjoyed it. I loved every minute of it. But so I understand when they submit stuff as a customer, you're like, bullshit. But if it goes to the right team and there's enough people that have the problem, that's how things change within companies like, call center and companies that are, like eBay or AT&T or any company really. Like they get this situation on the floor level, it gets escalated up, and then it goes, from there, and then it gets changed, if there is in fact a problem that needs to be addressed. So sometimes they would deny stuff for budgeting because it would cost too much to fix it, and the number of customers impacted is so low. Even though there is a issue, we can manually fix it, some sort of workaround on the floor to manually go get it fixed, versus doing some sort of systematic fix that would cost, $1 million or something like that. It's just not worth it to the company. And those things, that's where methods and procedures communicates with the executive team. The executive team would determine, do they have the budgeting or not, blah, blah, blah. And then, get back with methods and procedures to actually implement the changes that come down back to the call centers. Or some sort of workaround, because they're not going to change it. They're not going to put it in the budget to change it. There's just not enough customers being impacted. So anyway, just a little insight on how call centers work a little bit. Also, whenever you ask for a manager, 9 times out of 10, you're not getting a manager. You're getting another rep that's posing or saying that they're a manager, but they're really just another representative. That's 9 times out of 10 what happens there. Usually after like the third-ish person you get to, that might be an actual manager. But yeah, usually it's the first 1 or 2 people you talk to that's a manager is not really a manager. They're just empowered a little bit more, but they're just a representative that's been around a while, that's really good, that, anyway. So just throwing that out there actually is another little tidbit. So 5. I will stop rambling because I'm afraid my mail lady's going to come through and she's going to hate me. So we got 2 more to pack. 4. Chucky, is that her? No. All right, Chucky. Where's you know what? Chucky's gonna go in this thing. I just got this box back on that return. Chucky's going here. Beautiful. Chucky. Piece of paper in this thing. You know what? Let's use 2 pieces of paper. All right, so there's that. All right, I'll get to the next question here in just a second. Reuse boxes. Reuse boxes. There's nothing wrong with reusing boxes, man. Boom. 2 pounds. Beautiful. 2 pounds. Beautiful. I already had it on there. So there's that. So they paid 10. I'm paying 8. Love it. All right, and then the last one is the game. Next question is Joy Silver, again, thank you for commenting and hanging out. And yeah, you're not totally wrong there. It is sometimes pointless, but I'll just say I enjoyed speaking to an English speaking agent. That was great. Seller performance. If you ask to go to seller performance, that's how I got an English speaking agent. From now on, I might just do that every time. Like, can you connect me to seller performance? And next thing you know, I'm talking to an American. I loved it. It's been so long since I talked to an American on eBay. It's crazy. Anyway, so the last comment is Mark says, yeah, I usually put DLC, usually redeemed. This can also happen with Blu-rays and ultraviolet downloads. Good point there. Yeah, good point. These are usually expired. Does this mean you're above standard level now? No. So the seller metrics category metric performance that they do every quarter does not impact your seller rating. That just impacts if you're high versus your peers on the seller metric category metrics, then you're going to pay more in fees when you list in that category. So in this case, it's 5% more for electronics or video games. So that's what all that means. My seller performance is still top rated. That goes under defects on your account is what impacts your and or shipping late. Those kind of things will impact your seller performance. So, and then that's when you go to like above standard or standard and all that stuff. So no, to answer your question, nope. It's 2 different situations that you're dealing with there. Those defects and those late ship rates can cause whatever's on your top, that seller performance thing that's on your, it shows you what you need to be top seller. Those are the only categories or the only things that can impact that. The having high rate of returns will just impact whether you're going to pay more fees in those categories. I'd imagine maybe at some point, if you're like super, super high, like I said, I'm only like 1.7% above my peers. I'm not super high, but I would imagine if you go, I'm considered very high, but as far as, I don't know if there's a threshold at some point where they will bump down your rate, your top rated seller. The guy on the phone that was in seller performance, that's the department he was in, he said that won't affect it at all. So I don't believe that will impact it at all, but it is going to make me pay more in fees for the specific category that I'm having a high rate of returns in, specifically for like defects or item not as described. So you would think it would at some point probably, but he said no. But no, I'm still top rated seller as far as that goes. So the next one, let me do my labels real quick. This is 8. All right, 4 something. All right, so $33 in shipping. So boom. All right, let me spit these labels out, and then we will cover. So I think there was one more reply to Mark's, and then we'll be out of here. So just under an hour. Not terrible, not great, but hey, we did a lot though. I feel like covered a lot. All right, let me print these out. All right, the next comment, there was a reply, is Skull14 replied to Mark and says, I only sell video games on eBay when I have used game with DLC code in the case, I'll put it in the trash. I've seen too many other sellers get hit with negative feedback due to this issue when codes don't work. You think the buyers would have common sense to know it does not work? I mean, that's kind of my point, was like, I mean, it's a used game. It's kind of common sense. It's not going to have DLC with it. So good point, Skaw14. Appreciate you replying. Appreciate your comment. And hopefully you subscribed as well. But that's all I got, guys. That's Amazon. Let me put these labels on, and then we're pretty much done for the afternoon for now. Let's see. Scott. Scott got the Portal game. We got Lindsay with the blanket. We've got Brian with the PS3 game. Reuse your boxes, guys. Help save the environment, or help save the landfill a little bit. Reuse boxes when you can, and bubble envelopes for that matter. I reused 2 bubble envelopes, and I got a bunch of them over here from stuff that I've ordered. So yeah, and that is honestly got it. All right, so that's it for me today. I will be back on Monday. Hopefully we hit goal. Right now I'm sitting right around 850, 900 to deposit. So I've got the rest of today, Saturday, Sunday, and into Monday before the cutoff for my deposit. So 3-ish days. Hopefully we can manage to scrape up another $600-ish in sales between now and then and hit goal. That's my hope. I haven't hit 1,400 and it's been a while, man. It's been a little while. But again, my plan is to do some yard sailing, so I may take the GoPro if I go. I may hold off till next weekend. I'll just kind of see. Funds are a little tight at the moment. Christmas right around the corner, kind of things. So I may hold off for yard sailing for the next weekend. But anyway, that's all I got for you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a wonderful Friday. Have a wonderful weekend. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. If you liked anything from the content, if you enjoyed anything, if you heard or learned anything, if you just enjoyed hanging out, make sure you subscribe. We went backwards. We were 658. We went back to 655. Now we're back to 658. So we lost 3. We got 3. Let's push on through 700 at some point. I know part of it's clickbait with the titles, but I'm not good at that. So I put whatever it is we talked about. Maybe today I'll put something regarding, I don't know why eBay's so frustrating, or that probably won't get clicks, but I don't know. I'm not very creative when it comes to putting a title out there to try to get people to click on it. So, I don't know what I'll put on as a title, but either way, for those of you that do watch and those of you that I've come across your feed, thank you so much for hanging out. Have a wonderful weekend, wonderful Friday. We'll see y'all Monday.